Again, nothing really to do yet with drawing, as much as just trying to get a sense of what I'm going to show and where. Okay, having done that, so the first things I would do, again, you'll notice as I go around and start correcting values, the drawing is being corrected slightly at the same time. So I'm doing a little bit of both. Again, I'm not interested in the least, right yet, about any kind of details at all. I'm still sort of composing at the stage of the game. Trying to figure out basically where my lightest lights are, where my darker darks are. Still not even, if you notice, I'm still not even really concerned about my brick yet, as far as the actual drawing. Before I go fine-tuning anything, okay, what I'm going to start doing is, now that my composing really is complete, now I'm going to start going in and I'll start looking at, okay, I'll look at the brick, and you notice I made a line here, and I've decided that's where that inside of that brick is going to be, and I sort of follow that up, and visually I'm looking at where that intersects my eye, and I can see that my eye, if I follow it, this socket ends right about here. So that would be where that eye would be. So now I can start drawing now. I've got 2 reference points that now work, right? And I'll start working around here with that new information and start composing some of the skull a little bit further, all right? And I'll work from this side of the brick. I'll take this line here and draw it up and realize, hey, that snout ends this side of where that brick is. And so I'll sort of key that. But you put a line right there to let me know that I'm going to stop that. Now I can start working back this way a little bit, find out some of the different angles that I see here. I see this eye socket going this way, and then this part of the bridge going this way, so I'll visually do that, and I'll look at where the back of this stuff is. So I'll keep going back in and looking at all these reference points, okay, before I sit there and start drawing the teeth, okay. I'm still composing, I'm keeping it loose and fluid, looking at my lights, my darks, the basic shapes, my background, my foreground, what's happening underneath here, what's happening in front. And as I go around this thing and around it, you'll see that my drawing becomes tighter and tighter, my values become closer and closer. My lines, the linear quality will start going away and it'll become more and more sculptural. But I'll also make sure that I've got my lights and darks in their proper place. When I look at Ken's, as close as his was, I still question the stark contrast that I see here. Right? I'm seeing that he's pushing his values a little bit too hard, light to dark. Okay, I will gain and get there, but I see that there's more light in this than I'm getting here. Right? So he's got the idea down, but he's too hard-handed in the approach too. And I think the closer he looks at it, you'll also see that there's some drawing issues that you would take care of if you went about it at a slower pace and left the drawing for later, a little bit later. Right? Again, I'm sneaking up on my drawing, but I'm still not, drawing isn't the overriding factor at this point. I'm still composing a little bit. I'm composing with light and shapes and all the values. Right? And after I get those closer and closer, then I can start going in and saying, okay, this brick has to be this shape. The teeth are actually this shape, and they take up the space, and the eye is this shape, and I'll look at more of the intricacies that make this up. But to start with, I look at the totality of it first, and I live with that as long as I can, as long as it's necessary before I go in and try to fine-tune anything. Okay?
So when you say you're composing still,
yes.
it seems to me you're kind of committed to the composition.
I am to a certain point, but it's still, you'll notice that I haven't committed myself to a point where any part of it I'd be reluctant to change. Okay? So yes, I've gone slightly beyond the pure composing stage, okay? Because you saw my first scribblings were really pure composing, but I'm still composing now with light and dark.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I've got some of that going on too.
So you can balance it.
Yes. And again, I don't want to put all my darks and lights in there all the way yet, because I'm still not sure that the place that they belong is there yet.
Do you think I'm being too, trying to get there too quickly?
Could be, because when I first looked at it, I didn't really see the drawing issues, but I think if I sat down and really looked at it and started doing some visual measuring where things intersect, we may find that there's some inaccuracies that we could take care of more. I mean, again, an object like this, you don't necessarily see them quite so well as if you were painting your neighbor. Right? If you had the slightest inaccuracies that you have in here on doing a self-portrait or painting of somebody specific, you would see it more.
Right.
You've got more latitude here because unless I'm sitting exactly where you're sitting and seeing what you're seeing, it's hard to tell did you get it or not. Right? But if you were doing a self-portrait, hey, it would look like you were wooden. Right? And all the things that may be wrong with this would be the things that would really make a self-portrait not look like you at all.
Right.
Okay? And so I live with this stage quite a bit longer than you have. Even though your overall effect is solid,